Shadowcoast here, and welcome back to another episode. In this one, we are going to tackle the quest An Aspiring Merchant. You can pick it up from this merchant. If you see on the map, we are in New Serene, in the, kind of merchant area. He's across from the blacksmith. I do recommend that you have Siora in your group, which we've added. So we're going to talk to him. Now again, we're going to skip the dialogue to try to reduce the time, because this is a relatively long quest. A little bit of running back and forth. Long story short, he does not have a patent, and the coin guard keeps taking all his merchandise and won't let him set up a stand because he doesn't have the proper authorization. So we actually have to run over and talk to Manfred to ask Manfred what the heck is going on. I think Manfred is over here around the corner. One thing I did learn is that these different random loot, so not chests, but these things actually regenerate over time. So make sure your ABL always be looting, because you can craft things and build
Hello,
things.
Your Excellency.
So we're going to talk to Manfred, and he's basically going to tell us that he doesn't have a patent and that we need to acquire one. So we are going to obtain a patent, and we have to actually go over to the main governor's building, governor's hall, and talk to our governor's palace, excuse me, and talk to the appropriate authorities to obtain said patent to be able to sell the wares. Let's see if we can cut across. And we don't have enough vigor to make a jump. We have 0 vigor. I do recommend upgrading your gear. You should obtain some goldsmith gloves, which give you +1 crafting, which will allow you to upgrade gear. So add vigor, which increases the weight you can carry early game, which is very useful. And you can always swap different torso sets and gear out for different bonuses. So we're gonna run in here, and we're actually gonna take not this door, picked the wrong one. We are gonna take this other door to talk to the appropriate minister or person, the diplomatic affairs advisor.
Minister, Your Excellency. How?
So we're going to talk about the island merchant, and he's telling us that these things take time. We're going to insist because we don't have high enough charisma. Now, one thing you can do is if you upgrade your gear to have +1 charisma, or if you have the charisma perk, this becomes a much better option. We're going to see what insist does.
Allow me to insist.
Alas, your insist. I heard your request, and it will be. Would you like anything else?
That'll be all.
So insist does not allow you to do anything.
Minister.
Oh.
How?
That'll be all.
Goodbye.
So we're gonna have to go to our good friend for advice on how to figure this out. Now, if you have charisma, the guy will give you the patent if it succeeds, which is great, makes it a lot easier. And he is on the upper floor. So we insisted, so we're taking the longer path or more complex route here to figure stuff out. So you guys can see that. And I must have confused myself because I'm not sure where he is. It says he's on the upper floor. Sorry about this, guys. There's an upper floor, which is good to know. Buildings are like pretty to scale, which I find impressive and fun. You can explore different rooms, loot different things. So we're gonna ask for his help. and we're gonna talk about help convincing the minister.
Did our finickety...
He refuses to... The poor man has already had... Despite the fact that if he were...
I'm not surprised. Let me write you a recommendation. He'll see my seal, and I'm certain that he'll become more compliant.
Thank you for your help, sir.
Don't mention it. Can your old professor still prove himself useful?
So we're gonna leave. That's what we really needed. Just a little help. So we're gonna run back down to this guy. Hopefully this, seal that we were provided will put a little more pressure on the advisor. Is this Vasco? That is Vasco. Vasco's just chilling in here with Constantine. We currently have Kurt and Siora. I'm keeping Siora on this mission because we're dealing with a native, so I just want her to be able to translate and also gain some bonus points with her. So we're going to come back here, and we're going to tell him about the island merchant, and we're going to show him the letter.
A letter? But I hope all much. Here's the patent that you should give him. However,
thanks a lot,
would you like anything else?
So we got the accreditation,
Goodbye.
and we're going to run back to the merchant, so hopefully he can set up his stand. So there is a little bit of running around, but not too bad to be honest. And the nice thing is all these quests have a purpose, like they make sense. Something you can envision actually happening rather than, saying, hey, go out and kill 15 bears and bring back pelts or something stupid like that. We haven't had any of that yet, which I appreciate. So we're going to actually go back, give this guy the patent, and all of a sudden we found out that his cousin or friend was taken by the coin guard. So when he was trying to deliver some goods. So we're going to actually run over to the coin guard barracks. Or actually, I think we're going to speak to Manfred to figure out what is going on. Like, they can't keep just abusing the natives. This isn't healthy, right? So we're going to talk to Manfred.
Hello, Your Excellency.
And Manfred's like, you know what, I'm sorry, we did what we did.
If you want to,
And
is there anything
he's
else?
in the jail in the back,
No,
which I didn't know
thank
that
you.
they had. So they do have a prison, so we're going to go try to free the merchant's friend and also hopefully obtain some of his goods. You're going to see a stairwell over here. So you can either go up, down, which we need to go. But before you do either, I highly recommend you run in here and you open this chest and you loot this, all three actually, Warren Guard doublets. So this is a coin guard uniform. And we're gonna just throw it on. You can see here, coin guard, that is their symbol, little two swords crossing, so remember that. We're gonna run downstairs and think, yeah, back here. We're gonna talk to the jailer.
Hello.
And he's informed us
in the
that
At
this
least
native
man,
was
and now
thrown
here I
into
am.
the
What did you
fighting
dig
pits
up,
for
Fred?
entertainment, which is absolutely
I'm asleep.
ridiculous. So now we have to go find the fighting pit and hopefully save this merchant. But before we do pick up his stuff, so don't forget to pick up the goods to help the merchant so he can sell stuff. And we're just gonna unlock this door, which I recommend you do. And there is a, sorry, just want to point something out. Alright, so it's not here in this one. I thought there was a hidden chest that you could lockpick, but I'm not seeing it, so I apologize for that. I might be confusing it with another location. Alright, so we got the goods. You can run down here. There isn't actually anything to loot, just so you guys know. You don't waste time doing that. Alright, so we got it. Now we have to go try to free the poor native merchant. So here you can see, I thought those were two swords crossing, but it doesn't actually look like that. You can see on this wall here, it's really this symbol, and I'm not sure. Those look like more like maces actually that are crossing. So that's how you know that's the Coin Guard emblem. So we still have their gear on. We have not upgraded it yet, which we probably want to do. So you actually have to run outside and kind of curve around this wall to the Coin Guard Tavern. I'm not sure if you can go straight through. I couldn't find a way, so you do have to run around a little bit here. And it's over here. So open the tavern and run over to the right. This guy's gonna stop us and demand payment. You have to pay the 25. I couldn't figure out another way to get around it. So go ahead, pay the 25. And run down here to the back. Oops. Wrong room. You run down here over to the, like when you come down the stairs, hang a right and go through these doors. So this is actually pretty interesting. We're going to load the underground fighting pits, or the coin arena. Over here you have some options. You can craft, you can use the campfire to travel, gather companions, sleep, pass time. Basically, you can actually fight in the arena itself. There are different stages. It's a great way to gain experience, level up. We can explore that in another... Sorry, I just had to sneeze there. Episode. Here, talk to this guy.
Excellent. So, unless...
And instead of fighting in the first challenge, you want to ask to fight alongside the hunter prisoner, so we can free him. So accept the combat. Make sure you have your gear ready to go, because it is just you and him. You do have to fight 3 people. Now, you know me, I like stasis, so we're going to stagger a little bit. And I'm gonna stasis. Oh, nope, wrong guy. I wanted to stasis. I want to stasis this one. So we took that guy out. Made short work of him. This one we're gonna try to stagger. Whoa. Okay. Ooh. So we need a health potion. Luckily we have 14. Taking out some armor with our weapon. Oof. Gonna take another potion. Run into the wall and hit him in the back.
What a show! And when the crowd makes...
Boy, what? My name is... Follow me.
Alright, so at this point, you actually, when he's following you, you can't start the first challenge, which is kind of independent of the quest. So make sure that you don't try to do that. I don't think it'll allow you to. And we're going to want to return him to the aspiring merchant.
Ah, an almenau. Oi.
Then you must...
Thank you. Don't mention it. May the trees always...
So with natives, you get +2 reputation, and we aren't quite done with the mission because he wants us to go meet Ulan, the leader of his village, Viganar Namri. I'm going to be horrible at pronouncing that. So the way we get there, and I'll actually show you this, is I would take the caravan, and it's going to trigger another mission with the village. But the way to get there, so you can read that if you want, is talk to this merchant, or sorry, caravan lady,
My caravan goes
and she can get us to different areas safely. So we're going to pay her 10 gold, and we want to go to Hikmet.
To Hikmet, please.
Hikmet is the capital of the Bridge Alliance here, or the Bridge Alliance city and region here. So if you travel to Hikmet, if you run into Hickmet, you're going to pick up a bunch of quests. We actually do need to go talk to the Bridge Alliance governor. But to get to Ulan, once you get to Hitmake, you're going to actually travel, it looks like, south along the road. Now, when you're out here in the open, there are lots of monsters and other beasts. So depending on the region, the type of beast you're going to fight will differ. It's actually, they've done a really nice job in my opinion. So just keep an eye out. You might have to also fight, you know, different natives or other people. So we're going to want to travel to meet Ulan. So as we're at the loading screen, we do have the merchant camp, which is nice. In the top right, it'll tell you when you're loaded. Now, one thing I recommend you do early on and often is check in with this traveling merchant and check out his gear. I would upgrade weapons. This is the fastest way to upgrade weapons. They don't drop as often as other gear. And I would also take a look at different gear that you can potentially purchase. The biggest thing that this guy has is pretty awesome weapons. And then when it comes to ingredients, you know, if you need to pick up anything like that, you can. But the biggest thing is really the weapons. Make sure you purchase them really often and upgrade them. I think we're good for now. And then in the top right, it says your journey is loaded. So you can more quickly head this way. So now we have to still in this region travel down to Ulan, and as we do that we're going to hang a left, and I want to point out a few items here. There is some, you know, open world aspects within each region, so it's not completely kind of open world, but I would say that they do a nice job, mostly open world. There are a few things you're going to want to grab before you get to Ulan. So you can travel up there. You don't really need to at this point. Eventually you're going to get up there in another quest and check it out. And make sure you kind of loot the flora and the fauna as you go. If you travel down here, which we will do, there is a hidden shrine, but it is guarded by a few beasts. So we're going to set an elemental trap, and we're going to stasis this guy. Now the important thing for a lot of this stuff is make sure you stay within the fighting area, because if you don't, the animal's health will reset, or the monster's health will reset. Alright, so make short work of them. You can loot them. And I'm gonna have to come back here, but you can grab some loot. Here we found the obsidian axe, which is pretty cool. So you can check that out. And then over here, if you have science, you have a skill altar, so it gives you +1 skill. So skill is these attribute points, so you want to get them as many as possible. So make sure you put on gear that has +1 science, knock down the wall, and grab that skill point. So we are going to finish this off and run over to Ulan. There are a few items you can loot, and in looking at this, we also want to set up a camp here. So this is 1 out of 4 campsites for this glen, like this general region. There are 4 more campsites we're going to want to find and map out for our good friend Corsa-Leone. I actually don't know how to pronounce his name. So this is the village of Viganamari. And effectively, you want to run inside and talk to Ulan to finish out this quest. We're not going to do that because it's going to trigger another quest. So catch that episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Shadowcoast out.